left for the non-motorized passengers.
This is something we have in our report. Again, we looked at it, and pedestrians. So those lanes, we call them pedestrian facilities. Pedestrians on the road, pedestrians will have a way where to pass. So we give them pathways. Engineers are designing roads. Now in Kampala and in Uganda, I think lack of enforcement. We create these facilities. KC has created them for non-motorized traffic, but you will find that vendors come and take up these spaces. So again, pedestrians are pushed onto the carriageway. So in our report, among the issues we pointed out, and I think government needs to take them forward, KCC is supposed to vacate vendors from these areas, so that if it's a pedestrian facility, let it be left for the pedestrians. If it's supposed to be used by cyclists, we have cyclist ways now in Kampala currently in some of the roads. But these are not being used because either there is a shop, there is a kiosk for mobile money, but these facilities are supposed to be there so that pedestrians can feel safe on the roads. So in our report, we are trying to ensure that we do education, we do enforcement, and make sure that these facilities are free for use by pedestrians.
Okay, now let's also, I would want to understand more personally when it comes to the road user fund. The report, if you had to first of all break down for us some of those roads that have been under maintenance and are done, have completely gone through the maintenance. I'm saying there's also the Entebbe Road currently, I don't know about that. But for now, if you're to look at the projects that you started with last year that have been completed, if you're to break down for the viewers to get at least before the preview, you said the report comes after 2 years. So after the 2 years of the last report that you had, which roads have gone through maintenance and which ones are you looking up to?
Okay, I may not be able to point out one by one, but we do maintenance for all roads. So what we do is that we categorize roads to be maintained. Normally the tarmac roads or the major roads under Uganda National Roads Authority, we must keep those maintained at all the time. So that if you want to leave from Kampala to go to Gulu, you should be able to reach Gulu. If you want to go to Mbarara, you should be able to reach. So we put money on all those roads. Every year we put money on them to keep them open. Because one of our acts says we should keep roads in a maintainable state at all times. We also send money to districts, and they maintain our local roads, the gravel roads, the feeder roads in the district. So we give them money to maintain them. For KCCA, I think you have also seen some of the roads they are maintaining. So we put money on all these roads we maintain. The Entebbe road you talk about is also one of the roads we maintain, is under UNRA. And because we have a toll road, the Entebbe Expressway, the law requires that we should have, the policy requires that we should have another road, so that if I cannot afford the toll, I should have another road to use. So we have to maintain both the toll road and the free road, which is the normal Entebbe Expressway. So we normally send money to all these roads to be maintained every other year.
I do believe the report also highlighted some of the achievements that you've actually, been able to execute. If you can take us through some of those that the Uganda Road Fund has been able to achieve, because you set these targets, and maybe along the way, some actually hit, the others maybe for future consideration. But if you're to break down some of the achievements that you've got accordingly to the start of the year.
Among the achievements, I'll start with the one which was scored highest by actually the road users. We also fund we call Ferry Services. If you move around Uganda, we have so many rivers to cross. So a river, when a road comes and stops at a river and someone has to go to the other side, that part of the road, we also call it a road. So we have a ferry service. Road users scored this at 100%. That is the best run service in the country. Why do they say that? You know, our ferries, which are operated by UNA, they move on time. There's a schedule. So you know that if I reach the ferry at 7, there is a ferry crossing at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, until they close.
What does what happen to the lakes? Or it is only to the rivers also, which have no bridges, and because someone wants to move to the next district?
Mostly it's on the rivers, but also the lakes we have. If you're going to Kalangala, there is a ferry that takes you to Kalangala, even to Buvuma. They're there. So people are very happy with that. Other areas which we think we have scored, we have managed to send money. We normally get money and send it to districts and UNRA and KCCA. So in the year 2020, we managed to send 100% of the money they wanted to repair their roads. And we send this money on time. As soon as we get money for roads doesn't delay, because roads are supposed to be maintained at all time. You don't want to wait for a few months before you maintain roads. So roads must be maintained at all time, so we send money timely. to make sure that they maintain these roads in time. So among the positives is our advocacy for road maintenance. We are getting and gearing for more money for road maintenance so that we keep all these roads maintained. We're also looking at improving tourism roads. We have put money in tourism roads so that these roads are opened and maintained all the time, so that this can also ensure that we boost our tourism. So those are some of the positive road fund has registered, and we're keeping building on the same going forward.
Okay, now let's try to look at some of the challenges, the shortfalls that come in the long journey of trying to achieve most of the things. Probably, I believe it may be because of the road users or maybe funds or that, but if you can break them down according to those that have become very, very challenging to the Uganda Road Fund.
Shortfalls, one of them that I can come up with is the bad behaviors on our roads. We want to reduce on the accidents, but you'll notice that people overload. We have what we call overloading. Freight, these big trucks, they overload and go on spoiling our roads. You'll find a truck which is supposed to carry 40 tons, is carrying 60 tons, and it damaged the road from where it loaded the cargo from to where it is going. So that road will be damaged, and it will be, the road we are supposed to maintain maybe once, we shall maintain it 4 times because of one truck.
Okay.
So those are some of the challenges we are getting. Then the budget, especially this financial year, our survey was up 2021, but 2020, but now 21-22 financial year, the budget for maintenance was cut by almost 50%. So we have not been able to maintain as many roads as we plan to do in the financial year.
Okay.
So we expect that going forward in the next year, we might have some roads not well maintained, and we shall suffer as a country because we shall not be able to take produce to the market, people going to hospitals, boosting tourism, and all these things. So we have that challenge of funding this financial year, which is still a challenge, not only the road fund, but I think also the entire country, I think because of COVID. So we have less resources to maintain roads.
Okay.
And yet roads are our magic bullet. If we want to develop, the roads must be maintained all the time.
Oh, right. And well, I believe when you say something to do with the road fund, rather the allocation, most sectors have actually received shortcuts in terms of the fund allocations. Well, we were discussing something to do with the 2021 road user satisfactory report from the Uganda Road Fund. And I do believe all of us are road users in any capacity that we're in, whether you're using a bicycle, whether you're using foot, whether it's a boda or a vehicle, but as long as you're using that road, then you are a user and someone who needs to at least follow the guidelines to at least safeguard these roads, because we would need them as a country. Well, now we also have a challenge of, I would say, road users. First is, do we have clear guidelines on how to use roads here in the country? Because I believe sometimes maybe we may blame people for not actually following up or maintaining these roads in the way that the Uganda Road Fund believes is right to follow. But do you believe you've done enough to at least sensitize these masses on the possibilities of safely using the roads?
So on the guidelines, we have guidelines, and I'll let you know that our secretary, as the Minister of Works and Transport, we normally issue guidelines and policies of how, first of all, how to maintain a road.
Okay.
These guidelines are there. UNO has guidelines they are following. The district have guidelines they are following. And as Road Fund, we normally also amplify it by sharing this and going to the districts. And we present this, not only to the technocrats who do the road, but also the politicians who are their supervisors. We have what we call the District Roads Committee. So this committee has MPs, members of parliament, the district chairman, the councillor representing works. So when we go there, we share these guidelines with them, we educate them so that they get to know what is expected of the technocrats who are doing this work.
Okay.
So through the District Roads Committee, we are able to disseminate this information so that the bosses, those are the politicians, are aware about the guidelines. So as Road Fund, we try as much as possible to share this information to all the districts and people who are maintaining the roads.
Okay. So also a report here shows that the Uganda Road Fund is seeking for 230 billion shillings. I don't know whether the figures are right for maintenance. So that is how much you need for the next financial year.
No, that 230 is the shortfall we got this financial year.
Okay.
Our agencies, UNWA, KCCA, the district, municipality, and the new cities, they had a shortfall. We did get the money we were supposed to get. So some of the roads that were supposed to be maintained this quarter, the last quarter, were not maintained. There are a lot of dates. I don't know whether you watched the contractors on UNWA roads. They have dates of over 160 billion just maintenance. They have not been paid. So if you don't pay the contractors to maintain the road, they are not able to maintain in the next cycle. So the 230 billion is for maintenance money that we didn't get this financial year, and we are seeking for government, Ministry of Finance, to release that money so that we can plow it back into the roads and keep them open and motorable.
All right. So looking ahead of this financial year that is coming up, I know the government cut the money that you're supposed to receive, or the funds that you expected to receive, or at least to push more for the projects of maintenance. But if you to at least give us an overview and say maybe the next financial year, your focus as the Uganda Road Fund will be on this and this.
Yeah, looking at the resources we have, now as a road fund, we have to, of course, prioritize within the little resources. We are going to prioritize, and what we are planning to do is to keep all trunk roads open and well maintained.
Okay.
Then going to we are going to make sure that all those roads that were maintained last financial year, we do what we call the routine manual maintenance. They should be open, they should slash them, they should fill some of the potholes. And then looking at roads which are connecting district to district, district to city, and district town council, we are prioritizing and giving money to these roads to make sure they are maintained at all the time. So though the resources are not adequate, we are not getting as much as we should, we are looking at all those roads that are maintainable to remain in a maintainable status. We wouldn't want them to deteriorate and go into what we call rehabilitation. Because rehabilitation will need much more resources. So the few roads we have, or the roads we have that were maintained, we want to keep them open and well maintained so that we can continue using them for a longer time.
Okay.
So that's the plan going next financial year.
So if you can as well also take us through, I wanted to know something, more clarity on how are the roads funded? How is the road maintenance funded? I think you mentioned something about that earlier, but I want more clarity on that.
How the road is funded, let me take you through the act, what our act says, the Road Fund Act. We are supposed to get money for funding road maintenance in Uganda through what we call the road user charges. Road user charges. Road user charges is when you are using a road, you should pay for using that road. If you get your car and buy fuel, one of the road user charges, the basic one or the most one which you think can bring more money and can bring more money is the fuel levy. If you get your car and drive on the road in Uganda, when you buy fuel, you don't buy fuel to keep it at home. You buy fuel to use it on the road. So we are saying as we are using that road, we should pick some of that money on the fuel levy and plow it back in the road and maintain it. So that's one of our sources of income for maintaining the road. We also have appropriation of Parliament. Parliament can appropriate money to road fund to maintain roads. We can also collect money from traffic fines. We also look at overloading. If you have overloaded, we pick money from you. That's data money. Since we don't want you to overload, but we can pick money from you. Then transit fees. There are trucks. If a truck is passing through Uganda to go to Congo, should pay us some money for transiting through our country. Road tolls. You see the one of expressway.
Yes.
Every time we pass and pay 5,000,
it goes to the road fund.
It's supposed to go to the road fund. So that we plow it back into that road. So those are some of the sources we're supposed to use to get money. But currently, we are getting our money from appropriations from Parliament. So the MPs and the Minister of Finance, they give us money to maintain roads. So the money comes to the road fund direct. Then as a road fund, we look at the programs. We look at the program of the country. How much money should we give the Uganda National Roads Authority and what road do they want to work on? Should we give on the Uganda National Roads Authority alone, or we also have districts? Then remember, we also have 134 districts. We also allocate money to those 134 districts. They also have town councils. We all come from town council in our district. Then we also have what we call the sub-county roads. We also have to work on them. So this money trickles down to all the roads in the country to make sure they are maintained. But currently, we are only getting money from Parliament through that appropriation.
All right. Well, after the break, we're going to come back. I want you to help me distinguish for me is it cheaper to maintain or to construct a new road? Because there are high concerns that people believe sometimes roads that are maintained again will need more maintenance, but at least some believe it's better to at least build a new one instead of maintaining. You will tell us the cost of that, whether maintaining is more expensive than constructing. So that is what we're going to be having in next discussion after the break. The quick 15 minutes that we're left with will be coming in there, and our discussion continues here with the Uganda Road Fund user satisfactory report that was released last week. So we're looking at mainly the Road User Satisfaction Report 2021 and how the roads affect sustainable development in Uganda. Good morning, stick around.